Okay, hello, hello. Welcome to the She Shines podcast. My name is Helena Das. I am the host of this podcast, which is all about really elevating and celebrating the equine-preneur, the high vibe horsewoman, and the soul-led biz human or owner who is ready to rise and thrive and shine in 2025 and beyond. And so today we have another episode for you. It is a little bit different. My biz bestie, Nicole Worth, has kindly offered to actually interview me so that you can get to know a little bit more about me. And I do want to say before I hand over the mic to her that if you haven't listened to her episode yet, where I interviewed her, and she is, by the way, the owner of Focused Equine. She's an amazing heart-centered horsemanship coach and mentor that I truly admire. And so I just want to recommend that if you haven't checked out or listened to her episode yet, make sure you do that for sure. And so without that, I'm so grateful, Nicole, that we get to spend more time together again today. And thank you for offering to do this. I'm going to hand you the mic.
Thank you, Helena. So this is really cool. I'm so happy that I get to do this because the work that you do is so valuable. And I know that you're such a generous and kind person, and you're always bringing the spotlight to other people. But we need to see who you are. We really need to dive into your story a little bit. So this is great. I'm so happy that I get to do this. So um, if you could just start for us by letting us know, like, what's your background? How did you get into, like, obviously now you're moving into the equine-preneur space and really supporting those people. What is it that brought you to that place, and why is that such something that's really on your heart?
Oh, thank you. That is a really great question. And if I may take you back in time a little bit, I actually have been what I call a trailblazing equine-preneur since 1999. I started my own holistic equine veterinary practice, often called myself the renegade or woo-woo voodoo vet because I integrated acupuncture and herbs and body work and chiropractic and then got into energy work. And I did that for almost 2 decades, or around 2 decades. And then I had my dark night of the soul in 2007 when I lost my first horse and my mom the same year. But that actually was my spiritual awakening, and I began to really explore and question life and energy and different dimensions and all the things. And so fast forward, I ended up transitioning out of my holistic vet practice, always still having, the love and the obsession and the passion for the horses. But because of my journey, where I was seeking to actually heal myself from not only the grief, but I also had at the time that when I hit rock bottom, I ended up struggling for almost a decade with chronic fatigue and anxiety and depression. And I was going to all these doctors and was even diagnosed with chronic Lyme's disease at one point. And it really was, it was like flipping everything on its head. It was like the horses became my medicine. And so my horses, when I just went and spent time with them and just got outside and connected with the earth and nature, like that was the thing that helped me the most. I mean, I did all these diets and doctors and things, and certain things shifted, but really my sacred medicine was the medicine of the horse. And so that led me to starting and I'm skipping around on some pieces, but starting my movement in 2022, where I did my first summit that was called The Medicine of the Horse, in interviewing other experts in the arena. And then I also realized that after working with many women, like worldwide, mostly women that I've worked with, as my gifts and my passion and everything started to really evolve, because it's an ever evolving journey, I started to realize that the energy work that I do was really the secret sauce. And I helped women with all sorts of things, whether it was get better in their health and their body, whether it was in their relationships, or whether it was taking their life and business to the next level. And the approach for me was the same, because it was all coming back to the energetics, if you will. And so, because I've been on this journey for so long, myself again since 99, there was just really this passion to want to share that wisdom. And something else I learned, like the horses have been my sacred medicine, but my entrepreneurial journey, like this has been a vehicle of really like deep healing and personal growth for me in a way that I never would have imagined. And I've learned so much about myself along the way that I just really want to share that wisdom, as well as, my gifts to support other equine-preneurs or soul-led biz humans, owners. So I hope that answers the question.
That absolutely answers the question, and that's amazing. Like, I know a little bit of your story, of course. I've known you for a couple of years now, but just to hear all that again, and the depth of experience that you have and wisdom that you have to share on, the having your own vet practice for so many years, and then moving into, like, dare I say, even like pioneering different areas in vet. Like, I know you did amazingly in acupuncture, and just shifting your business model to what was really right for you and right for the horses at the time, and then shifting again into what you're doing now. Like, there's so much self-leadership in that, and wisdom and value for anybody that wants to work with you, aside from healing yourself in the way that you did. Like, it's just amazing. You just have so much gold. So I'm glad this conversation.
Thank you.
So we might have started to cover it already, but like, what's one of the questions that you often ask people is, what's most alive for you right now? Like, what's as you're looking forward into the next 3 to 6 months, like, what's really pulling you forward, drawing you forward, in terms of what you want to share with the world?
Yeah, thank you. And it's funny because I was reflecting, like, beforehand, I asked these questions and then trying to ask them for myself. But really the biggest thing, and I have a lot of different things going on because I am a very multi-passionate, multifaceted, creative soul. So I can have lots of pans in the fire at any one time. But right now, when I think about the thing that's really most alive for me is this obsession that I've really had about the dark horse, which maybe you can see the book back there, and the symbolism and the transmissions and wisdom that's come through on my journey with connecting with the symbolism of the dark horse, which that's like way too big to get into here. But I have, like, behind the scenes, I'm really excited. I'm working on a dark horse alchemy program to really go through like the emotional agility and mastery pieces, which I feel have helped me on my journey with the dark horse, and helping women meet their like inner dark horse, if you will. and do this work so that we can really navigate life and business with more ease and grace, because I really find for me that piece, especially again as an equine-preneur, as an entrepreneur, is being able to navigate that and master that has just been such a growth thing for me personally over the years. And yeah, even looking back on this past year, when I look at what I have personally navigated and the way I have, like, it's just, I'm so proud of myself because it's different than how I was, even the year before, or, and in the past. So I'm just really excited to share that.
Amazing. And it's an ever evolving journey, isn't it? Like when you have your own business and as an entrepreneur, it doesn't stop. And the by default, the up levels keep coming because life keeps coming at you, and there's always more to stretch. There's always more to step further into your true wisdom. And like the dark horse idea that you've mentioned, I think just hearing you talk about that, I think that really embodies what entrepreneurship is in a way, because we are bucking the trend. We are doing something different that is it takes somebody different to do that. And yeah, I love the way that you get to support people in that.
Thank you.
Um, just like what type of people do you work with? Or rather, actually, what I wanted to ask is like what transformations have you seen already with the people that you've worked with in this way that really light your
Yeah.
soul up to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, well, I definitely have a few I can choose from. The one that's most recent that's coming to mind for me was actually, and I don't do a lot of work with men, but I happen to be doing some work with this guy who, he gave me a testimonial. Anyway, his name is Michael, so I'm sure I can use his name. I want to be respectful of people's privacy. But we did some work together where he was really clear around his vision and his soul's work. And I actually kind of took him on what he actually felt like a shamanic type journey in terms of the channeling and the energy work that I do, and bringing in like the spirit herd. And so we worked on a few things. And what was really, really magical was, before we got into the energy work, I had asked him, around his intention for our time together. And one of the things that he said was he wanted to experience more ease, more ease with his
Mm.
path forward. He was clear on his path, but he just wanted to feel more ease around it, because he felt like there was the way he described it, like some clouds or turbulence up ahead. And, he knew that was his path, but he, didn't feel as easeful, or trying to remember the words he used, but anyway. And so we did the energy work, and not only by the end of the session was he sharing how he felt so much more joy and ease and excitement, like he was literally glowing by the end of the session, and said that he was experiencing a level of joy that he hadn't in a long time around his path forward when he thought about it. And then literally he messaged me 30 minutes after our session. He got he had landed a job interview, and I forgot to mention that earlier, but when he told me about the ease, I said, what would help you feel like, what would happen to have what would have to happen for you to help you feel more ease about going forward down this path? And he said, landing a job interview,
Mm.
because he'd already taken aligned action. He'd submitted his application, right, for his, chosen area. And it was so magical because, right after the call, he wrote me and said 30 minutes later, he said he had landed the job interview. And to me, that just speaks to like the magic of shifting our energy, right? Like when our energy is in alignment, we still have to take action, right? But that inner work is so important. And a lot of the teachers, spiritual teachers, I guess, that I've kind of worked with over the years, I've heard different statistics, but anywhere from 80 to 90% of our results is actually coming from the energetics, right? That energetic alignment, and maybe kind of like how we are with the horses, right? Who are we being when we are with them, right? And so that energy, for me, it's just so magical to witness that physical 3D manifestation happen so quickly when we shift the energy. And that's, just one example. There are others I can think of, but that's the most recent one I can share. So
That's so cool. And yeah, I have to agree, like, and I don't come from sort of the energetics background at all. So it's so interesting to talk about this, but even in my world and what I've experienced, that there's so much kind of on the inside of us that is blocking the results that we want.
yeah.
And when we get some help to shift that, it's just like things open up, things open up. And just on that, like I just mentioned, so I don't come from the sort of energetic spiritual background. So the entrepreneurs that you are working with, are they all like, do they have the spiritual or like woo-woo background, or is that like part of a prerequisite, I guess, what I'm asking, to work with you, or is it something that you bring them into your world and you do your magic?
Um, I think that's a great question. And I think that I'm trying to think of the best way to answer that, because I feel like the people who are attracted to my work, there is a certain level of
Mm.
woo. And as I've been like giving myself permission to unleash more of that, um, myself, then I think that also, helps. But I will say that even if someone is not necessarily woo or open to it, I have a variety of approaches in my medicine bag, so to speak. And so, I will always try to meet someone where they're at and do, like introduce them to maybe different aspects of my toolkit in terms of where they might be ready or not ready. But for the most part, anyone who has come to me is already fairly open, I would say, if that answers. But you don't have to be,
It does,
you don't
yeah.
have to be in order for it to help or in order for it to benefit, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't-
totally. Totally
and
makes sense.
yeah, and I'm not sure if I answered the question.
Yeah,
Or
no, you did, because no, that makes perfect sense, like that you meet people where they're at, um, and you go forward from there. And I love that you said you have a variety of different modalities in your toolkit to get the
Mhm.
same result. And to back to what I was saying way earlier, is you have so much, you have just such a broad um, wisdom, like you have so much experience and wisdom and stuff that you bring to the table to help people. It's so cool.
No.
Um, and so what are you most proud of in your own journey? Like, I know you've helped so many people, but um, looking back, what are you most proud of up to this point?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I'm just most proud of like the woman that I am becoming or unbecoming, if you will, like the
Mm.
the layers that I've been shedding and the level of mastery that I have been noticing for myself, like I mentioned earlier, around the way I'm navigating things that in the past would have like taken me out, for weeks or whatever, that that there's been, I guess things have kind of been adding up over time, right? And just so proud of the fact that no matter how many times I've like fallen off the horse, to use the metaphor, in terms of my entrepreneurial journey and life, and the craziness of the world that really I think is going on for so many, that I haven't been immune to. For sure, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and I'm just so proud of the fact that I am just like it, all of it has really been helping me to, or the way that I've been approaching it is um as like those stepping stones, if you will, or the like mining the gold along the way, or like
Mhm.
no longer like stuff comes up, and I'm not going to say I don't get, I don't experience like the fear or the anxiety or any of those things. Like I'm still human, but the way that I am navigating life, like there was a time that I would not have, like I don't even recognize myself, honestly.
Mhm.
There's like times I look and again, I'm not saying I don't have my moments, but like the ease and the grace and the speed, even that I'm moving through things, just feels for me like I feel like Superwoman or supernatural or something. Like it just feels like I don't know. So I'm so just proud of that. And I have to say, even on the health journey, was we were mentioning that, like I'm 60, and I honestly have more like energy and vitality and passion and purpose and clarity and all of that than I now, than I have when I look back. There was a whole decade or two that I was just so sick and depressed and like just asleep. I don't know what you want to call it, asleep, or I don't know what you want to call it, but it's just yeah, so I just feel like the better it gets, the better it gets. So yeah, on so many levels. So
That's yeah. Um, yeah, I think you should be proud of that.
thank you.
Um, and so what's your bigger vision? Like, I've known you for a couple of years now, and I just see you elevating and elevating as a human and as an entrepreneur yourself. And what's your big vision for 2025? And I shouldn't even say 2025, but in the coming years, like what's your big vision for um, for what you bring to the world and the parts of you that you want to share to help entrepreneurs?
Thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you for the positive feedback and the praise. That just really, I thank you. I would want to receive that. So I really appreciate you saying that. And my big vision, and actually I had like a PS that I wanted to share from the previous question before I dive into the big
Oh,
vision,
go
if
ahead.
I may. The other thing that I was so, and I actually called it my biggest win for 2024, but something that feels so magical to me, with a lot of the kind of behind the scenes things that I do with my meditation and whatnot, was actually manifesting you coming to Florida. Which, we won't go into that whole story here, but yeah, that was like for me, yeah, something that definitely is, goes down in the down
Down
in
in
the
history books.
Yes, exactly, because I don't even know like how that happened, and you know the story, but just briefly for those who don't, I had like a little bit of a like a meditation visualization, and shared that I wished we could meet in person one day and just be sharing, celebrating our journey together and clinking champagne glasses. And Nicole is in Australia and I'm in Florida, and just this past year, just a few months ago, she literally flew to Florida and invited me to one of the most incredible events. So anyway, I that was
Yeah.
also that was on my list of something I was really proud of, because I literally like imagined it in my mind's eye, and then it
It
happened.
happened.
So yeah, that was
Yeah, it
amazing.
happened so much sooner than we thought. And just for everyone listening, like I didn't, I just want to say, like, I didn't just kind of take on board Helena's vision and go, I'm going to make sure that I meet up with her. It didn't happen like that at all. Um, it was really just opportunities came up and we both ran with it. um, yeah. And coming to Florida and attending that business event, that conference was so cool. It was the best thing that could have happened for both of us, I think, at the time. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
really
definitely.
special.
Definitely. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. So, as far as my big vision for 2025, I really like truly desire to if I dare use the cliche here, but to like really 10x my impact around those I am serving, and touching their lives and really impacting with my mission and my message and my gifts, and really just making a bigger difference on the planet, sharing my very unique personal brand of magic and horse medicine. And something I didn't say earlier too, that I wanted to mention about the dark horse, is that my beloved Indigo, who is a Black Arabian gelding, has also been a partner. I want to give him credit for, for really helping to guide me with a lot of this work in terms of my downloads or what I'm channeling or learning from him. But anyway, I truly, truly just see impacting so many more lives, both horses and humans, because for me, this might sound kind of um, uh, counterintuitive, I guess is the word I'm thinking. But for me, working with my equine-preneurs and my horsey, soul sisters and women who love, have, and work with horses, and especially in the biz arena, like I truly feel like doing that is going to help more horses, like indirectly, if
Absolutely.
it makes sense. So that, for me, like that's my selfish why or motivation underneath that. Because at one point, long ago, when I ventured to the online space, the idea of like, how can I help more horses, when I was kind of transitioning and trying to figure out no, just transitioning from my vet work to my, more spiritual calling. And then on the online space, like the idea of, taking that work to the horses just seemed really more, I don't know, difficult, if that makes sense. Or, to bring, like, you can't bring a horse onto the Zoom call or whatever
Yeah,
kind of thing. And so, and then when I went through my awakening and my intuitive gifts came on, and I started channeling what I call is like the collective spirit of the horse and the wind horse herd. And I don't know if you like can see, but I always have my little prayer flags. Those are Tibetan wind horse prayer flags. And there's a story for that another time. But when I started channeling all of that, it is, for me, the whole opportunity online, and to be, like able to reach people all over the world, and even like connect with you, right? And, in
mm,
Australia, to me, that ultimately, like, I'm still helping the horses, if that, I guess, if I
yes,
can't get it out, but like, yes, like that my deeper selfish why is to help more horses through the humans that are connected to them, if that makes sense, and working with them and helping them. So that, if that makes any sense. So
totally.
I
1000%
couldn't
makes
get that
sense.
one out quite well, and I think I went on
Totally.
a I went on
No,
a
I mean, it makes so much sense because the way that we show up as humans absolutely directly affects our horses. Yeah, 1000. That's beautiful. And so what do you want to leave our listeners with? I mean,
Mm.
there's so much. You mentioned the impact that you want to have, like the 10x impact that you want to have on your people and your audience. And essentially, that's what they want to do for their own audience as well, isn't it? As entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
we're all here to bring the impact and the transformation for people. And so, for anyone who's listening, what do you want to leave with us?
Mm. Um, I feel like the biggest thing that wants to come through for me is that if you're listening to this, I want you to know, and you're resonating with the message and what we're sharing, is that you deserve to be happy and healthy and wealthy and fulfilled and successful and free. Like you deserve it. If it's on your heart, to me, our desires are given to us by God, like given to us by the divine. And really, it's our human journey to learn how to get out of our own way to receive that. And I'm still a work in progress, but that is what I believe. And I also am such a stand. And again, coming back to the horses, like I'm such a stand for, the more that we can empower and get like the wealth and the health and the resources and the support to the women and especially the horse women, in the world, right? It's going to be a better world. And again, it's going to be better for the horses, right? So, there's that theme there. But for me, it's just really like bringing heaven to earth in doing this work and partnering with horse, whether it's in the 3D or 5D, how I'm doing it at this time. I really just want you to know that that desire can be your destiny if you choose it and you give yourself permission to say yes to your soul, like say yes to that inner nudge and know that you are worth it. And so I just feel like that is really what wants to come through. And yeah, thank you.
That's so beautiful. Yes, the worthiness piece, and feeling deserving of the things that we desire is something that many of us struggle with, I think. So, on that note, this has been amazing, but where can people find you if they
Oh,
want to dive more into this work with you or just find out more about what you do and how you can help them? Where can they find you on the internet?
thank you for asking. I'm most active on Instagram and YouTube, and I will leave those links down below in the show notes, whether you're seeing this on YouTube or in the podcast. But my handle is cosmic cowgirl underscore 88 on Instagram, and on YouTube, it's cosmic cowgirl underscore 888. So there's 2 8s and 3 8s. Yeah, and so that's where I am there. So feel free to come by and say hi and connect. And yeah, would love to meet you. And one of my mantras, which I will share, is together we ride, together we rise.
Guys,
So yeah.
yes,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you. And of course, um, anybody can subscribe to your YouTube channel, I believe,
Mhm.
and stay tapped into your episodes here because I'm sure you've got some more amazing ones on the way.
Yes, absolutely. There'll be both, both and thank you for saying that, by the way. Thank you in advance if you did, receive value from this conversation today, for subscribing, for liking, for sharing the love, all the things, the support. would be greatly appreciated. Share it with your friends, your horsey friends, your entrepreneurial soul biz friends, anyone that you feel guided. So thank you. Yeah, thanks so much, Nicole.
Amazing. Thank you, Helena. And I can't wait to hear more about your dark horse movement and how that is going for you, and all the beautiful people that you're taking through that process. So thank you.
Thank you.